Next time that you take the field in Death Valley, you will have a new head coach. When Clemson comes to town, I'm assuming at the current moment Dabo's not going anywhere. But Dabo Swinney will bring his Clemson Tigers into Death Valley and you'll have a new head coach. Because you have performances offensively like you had tonight is why you will have a new head coach. Because quite honestly, the foundation of your offense is horrendous. Guys, quite honestly, this mimics in a lot of ways how bad you were defensively in 2023. Maybe a little bit worse. I don't know what to say, but you do have hope because this time next year, you will have a new head man. I have no idea if it's going to be Lane Kiffin or not, but you will. And I think the biggest thing for me that we all need to discuss here is that we all need to prepare for something because this team needs a lot of work, especially offensively. You can't run the ball against an 8-3 Western Kentucky. Your backup offensive lineman and your starting offensive lineman decide to jump off sides. You're whiffing on blocks. Tonight, you look like that you didn't really give a shit. Collectively, offensively, you look like that you just didn't give a shit. And it is what it is. You know, I tweeted something today. Oklahoma beat Missouri earlier in the day, and they're one game away from going to the playoffs. And I said, hey, man, if they can't get in, we can't get – if we can't get in, neither can they. Let's stop their playoff hopes. Man, you're going to go up to Norman, Oklahoma and get your teeth kicked in. Maybe that looks a little bit differently when potentially you might know who your next head coach is going to be by that Saturday, for all we know. But right now, your foundation offensively is broken. One thing for me is completely certain. I personally want an offensive-minded head coach. I want a guy that wants to call plays, or if somebody he delegates the plays to, it's something that he wants, and it's his offense, and it's what he does. Kind of like what Kirby does with his defense. Kind of like what Nick did with their defense. Hey, listen, you are going to be the defensive coordinator, but you're calling our defense. You're doing what we do. I want that on the offensive side of the ball, regardless of who it is. Now, obviously, here tonight, we're talking a lot about Lane Kiffin. We're going to break down the game. But there's a lot going on in reference to your future. Where is the direction of this program heading? Are you heading into a future with Lane Kiffin? Because, guys, now that we're pretty much here, we got to talk about it all good, bad, and ugly, which right now I don't know how much ugly there is other than, you know, I mean, is Lane going to be the head coach of LSU forever if that's so what he chooses? But offensively, you got a long way to go. There's a massive rebuild that's got to happen along the offensive line. You're going to have to go find quarterbacks, plural, because right now you have one scholarship quarterback and you do not have a recruit committed at the quarterback position through the high school ranks. Also, you don't have a running back committed through the high school ranks. Going in the portal every year and just throwing money at the problem hasn't worked for you. Now, it's worked for Ole Miss, but clearly they showed that they understand talent. They understand development. They understand that, hey, man, this kid might have played in D2, but he's a better quarterback than anything we've had the last 2 seasons. Oh, Missouri, you don't want a running back? Well, we'll just take yours, and he'll lead the country in touchdowns. Right? So we have a long way to go, is basically what I'm saying. It could get changed in the entire offseason. We've seen Kurt Cignetti do it in the Big Ten with a soft schedule. But I'm not asking the next head coach next year to go into the playoffs or go undefeated. Can you score more than 13 points versus a G6 opponent? I don't care if they're 8-2 or not, because that tonight was god-awful. Turnovers, missed assignments. Your offensive line, their football IQ is well below average. I just got to say it how I see it. Fundamentally, Brad Davis probably should have been out of the door and other staff members out of the door when Sloan got cut. Now, you can't really do that. You don't have enough assistants. I get all of that. That's fine. Kind of a dead season anyway, because you, quote-unquote, recruited from a star-level development standpoint along the offensive line in a really good light, in a really good way. But the God's honest truth of all of it is your ass. You do not win games up front if you are not physical. If you can't line up on a 3rd and 2 and get 2 yards, you just don't deserve to be in the SEC. Now, you do, but you don't deserve to be able to do it. Coaching staff included. You keep running out there every week from an interim staff and keep saying that we're going to run the ball, we're going to run the ball, we're going to run the ball. Well, you keep saying that shit, and tonight I look at Michael Van Buren's attempts, and I say to myself, what? Michael Van Buren's got 42 attempts. 42 attempts. And you put up 13 points. This is by far the worst red zone offense I've ever seen in LSU's history. I can't. Maybe that last year with DiNardo, but I can't remember a team that was this bad in the red zone, this dysfunctional. Guys, it's more than just coaching. It's just simple player IQ. You got a complete rebuild along your offensive line, man. But it's gonna be really good to see, hopefully, that we get somebody that wants to come in here and run the damn football. And you get back to what LSU always has been. Tough, hard-nosed, downhill, in your face, get the fuck out of my way. If I see you on the highway, get the fuck out of my way, head ass. I want to see you downhill and physical, because right now you're getting your shit pushed in. You're getting shoved in a locker like you're Screech and it's Saved by the Bell. And Mr. Belding can't save your ass. Now, to our younger audience, that's going to go completely over your head, and I get it. I just ask you to Google Zach Morris. That's all I ask you to do. When you're rolling out of bed and your hair is a mess and your dog ate all your homework last night. But good Lord. A win is a win is a win, I guess. But my God. Like that is pathetic. Tonight was really bad. If you don't care, fine. But you're not, like, it is mind-blowing how week upon week upon week upon week you can continue to miss stunts along the offensive line. It is baffling to me. I don't want to hear your excuses. You know, guys, I get DM'd from people all the time that have connections to people along the offensive line over and over again. They're bitching, moaning, and complaining to me. Oh, it's how they're taught. It's not how you're taught. I went to 17 practices during the fall. You're not taught that. You don't know what you're doing. And then from a coaching perspective, since they don't, it falls back on you to be able to teach and mold and develop. Guys, I have not said anything about this offensive line, not like I just did, because you've been going up against SEC opponents. And I'm like, all right. You don't want to have the conversation about Vandy. Vandy might be a playoff team. You don't want to have the conversation when it's about Bama. Are they good? No, not really, but it's Bama. You don't want to have that conversation against A&M. I get all of that. This is Western Kentucky. Blake, they're 8-2. I don't give a Rudy poo. If I'm gonna sit up here and rhyme like I'm Dr. Seuss, I'll sit up here and rhyme like I'm Dr. Seuss. But good Lord, what are we doing? You can't just go home during the offseason when you're done lifting weights, when you're still struggling. What is your work ethic? Frank, how have you gotten worse? I'll tell you. You talk about the offensive line and the injuries, Braylon Moore being out. DJ Chester didn't have a good night. You don't have an answer at tackle. Look, I'm going to get killed for this one. I don't know what your IQ level is along the offensive line when it comes to stunts, because this is every week. I don't want to hear you're being taught that, because I can roll down this projector in this office and tell you that Brad's not teaching you that based off of practice footage of him correcting it. I don't want to fucking hear it anymore. You got a long way to go. You got a long way to go. Defensively, welcome to the show. I mean, you've given up 20 points, and 3 points defensively. I don't know what else you want from them. I mean, outside of the A&M game, they've given you a chance to win damn near every game. Well, Blake, what about Vandy? Well, they got 2 3-and-outs, and if you got to the 1-yard line and you couldn't score. They kept giving you opportunities. Have they been perfect? No. Are they a top 15 unit in the country in scoring defense? Yes. If I would have told you that this team defensively would have been 15th, 16th, I think they'll probably read more about 16th, but 15th, 16th in the country in scoring defense, you'd be like, Blake, what seed are we getting in the playoff? And I would have agreed with you. I would have agreed with you. Guys, this defense is going to go down as one of the better ones, really. When you think about it. When you think about it. You got a lot of dogs. The interior of your defensive line has been fantastic. But you don't have the personnel all around as a team. You just don't. You let Destin Hill run a slant and he gets a first down. Then you throw the ball to Barryon Brown and he drops it again. Guys, that's his 8th drop in 3 weeks. Put in a kid that can catch the football. You're going double tight end, and one of them can't block and the other one can't block. Push them, pull them, do something. Horrible performance tonight. But we'll get into it a lot. All right. Couple of ways you can get involved in the show. Number 1, you can become a member on the YouTube channel. We already got a couple of people like Gregory Williams became a member of the YouTube channel along with Brian. We greatly appreciate all of you that are becoming members on the YouTube channel. I think we have another one here. Brandon, did you see another one? No? Okay. You can become a member of the YouTube channel. We do greatly appreciate all of those that do. Obviously, we'll be depending on when the Lane Kiffin stuff comes out. I'm sure we'll be getting out some content within the next couple of days here on the members-only YouTube channel. I see the Super Chats already coming in. You can send them in. Depending on how long we go, we'll get into some live calls. So become a member, send in Super Chats, or wait until live call-ins. That's what we will do here tonight. Do us a favor, hit the like and share. If you're on Facebook, share to all those groups and social media pages. You're watching us, listening to us on YouTube. Like, subscribe, notification bell wherever you listen to podcasts. Rate, review, and subscribe. Every AYS Sports Postgame is brought to you by our good friends over at FanDuel. Use the FanDuel Sportsbook app today if you're on Apple or Android phones. I was on it a lot today. I did bet the second half of LSU and Western Kentucky, saying that they would not score. They did. Because, of course, they did on a fumble with a couple of minutes left to go in the game. So, was able to do that on FanDuel. Go to FanDuel.com/RG for more details. You can set your preferences there, too. That's why I love the FD Sportsbook app. But every postgame, every show this football season and coaching carousel is going to be presented by our good friends over at FanDuel, so download the app today. All right, do us a favor, hit the like and share. I know why you're all here. It's because you want to talk about our game just now. You want to talk about what just happened on the field. I know what you're here to talk about, so let's get into it. All right. Ross Dellinger of Yahoo Sports came out with an article last night that stated that LSU is prepared to offer Lane Kiffin around a 7-year contract worth of $90 million plus. Brandon Marcello came out today and said sources, actually that contract's going to be a little bit more. It's going to be a 7-year, $98 million contract that's going to be offered to Ole Miss head coach Lane Kiffin. So On3 came out in the middle of all that and said all three schools are prepared to offer Lane Kiffin a $13 to $14 million a year deal with $25 million plus of roster monies to have, whether it be NIL, TV, or revenue, what have you. So where are we at the current moment with Lane Kiffin? Guys, listen, we need to kind of back up a couple of days to talk about what has happened here so we can kind of encapsulate all of this. Number one, on Thursday, we came out here and I said, listen, there's a big decision going down on Friday per Ole Miss. An ultimatum had been set for Lane Kiffin for a Friday meeting with Keith Carter and the chancellor of Ole Miss to make a decision about his future. In the discussion that you and I had, the thing that I came back to the most about Friday was I'm going to have to see them fire him, right? There's this big, bad ultimatum that Ole Miss has given. You walked out there with your chest poked out. We're not going to let him do that. We gave him an ultimatum. All right, sounds good. Well, I don't think that you can suspend him legally, and I don't think that you have the balls to fire him this past Friday. They didn't. They did not. And like we talked about pretty much kind of all week, but especially on Thursday, I'm going to have to see them fire Lane Kiffin, a head coach that had brought an Ole Miss to 10-1. You're an Egg Bowl away from going to the playoff. Even if you lose the Egg Bowl, I mean, I still think they're going to let you go into the playoff. Regardless of all of that, I need to see you do it. And the truth of the matter was, Ole Miss did exactly what I thought that they were going to do. They backed down. We will make a decision on the Saturday after the Egg Bowl. Lane Kiffin will give us his decision the Saturday after the Egg Bowl. More on that in just a moment. What are you doing? You can't go out there if you're Ole Miss. And let me tell you something. If I were an Ole Miss fan, I would be pissed. Yes, I'd probably be pissed at Lane Kiffin. I get that level of it, of why they should be pissed off about that. I wouldn't even be pissed off about that part specifically. I would be just as upset from Keith Carter going out there and leaking that you had given Lane Kiffin an ultimatum, and then you had this meeting with Lane on Friday. Lane Kiffin called your bluff in reference to you firing him or not letting him coach, and you backed down. So it's not just Keith Carter. The chancellor was in there as well, and you backed down. You backed down. So regardless of all of that, if that were LSU, quite honestly, I would have struck up a live show and I would have come out here calling for your termination. You can't go out there and saying you're gonna make him an ultimatum and you're not gonna back down only to back down. That shows a lack of leadership. That shows a lack of not really understanding and bluffing. And then when your bluff got called, it's like being at a poker table with 007 and you have no idea how you just lost all of your money. You have no idea how Sean Connery just took all of your money because he knew that you weren't going to do shit. Now, this is not about Ole Miss, but I think it plays a massive factor here. So what has happened since Friday after Ole Miss released that? There seems to be a lot of public pressure coming down on Ole Miss, and especially athletics director Keith Carter, on do not let him coach the Egg Bowl. If he is not going to commit moving forward, let him go. Now, I want to say this before we move on. Ole Miss, their thought process on this is backwards. Their biggest leverage in all of this was the one thing that Lane Kiffin wants. That is to coach his team throughout the playoff. Let him. Because the longer this goes, Florida and LSU might spook. And they might go in different directions. And you get to keep him unless he makes the decision. Put the decision all on him. You want to leave? Go right on ahead. It's your job as an athletic director behind the scenes having conversations about replacing Lane Kiffin, even if it doesn't happen. Kind of like what Florida State's doing. Oops. Did I say that out loud? Yes. You know, when Verge Alsbury was appointed, he stated that you always have a short list of coaches that you would want to go after. Keith Carter, I know you were 10-1 and never thought you'd have to do it, but it's the golden rule. When LSU and Florida fired their head coaches, what did you think was going to happen? What did you think was going to happen here? So let's move into what happened last night with Ross Dellinger. On Thursday, the second thing that we talked about is what Ross Dellinger reported on. So basically, Thursday's show was a prequel to tell you exactly what was going to happen. Basically, we gave you the book Cliff Notes version of how all of this was going to play out. 1 for 1 so far. Let's go for 2 for 2 because here we go. LSU is set to prepare to make Lane Kiffin the highest paid head coach in the country. And guys, if this got pushed to about $15 million a year, I don't know if LSU bats an eye. Now, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with that. What I am telling you is something that I have heard from probably a couple of Thursdays ago when we came out here and said, hey, man, I'm starting to gain some confidence on this Lane Kiffin thing. LSU set to go to 7 years, $15 million per. And I don't know if everybody's willing to do that. Now, the thing that Ross Dellinger, and I suggested all of you just go read it. I'm not going to share the Cliff Notes version of it with you here. But 7 years, 90+ million. Now, Brandon Marcello, who I think Brandon Marcello is a damn good reporter, said it'd be a 7-year, $98 million contract. That coming in the sense of about $14 million a year. So LSU's got about another $1 million to play with before they're like, you're kind of stretching your luck here a little bit on the salary. But here's what I've heard, and I told you then, and then it played out in Ross's article. I don't think I don't think Florida is hitting all of the incentives from a pay increase more than what LSU is. So not only are they going to match everybody, LSU's incentives are more up. Now, I told you, and we'll go 3 for 3 in just here for a minute, and everybody said, well, this wasn't in the article. On 3's reporting. Guys, I continue to hear the biggest problem with Florida right now is that they do not want to completely give control to Lane on the NIL part of things. And that has been a hiccup for them, where it's come from an LSU standpoint, like, hey, man, you want to coach in the playoffs? Go right ahead. We kind of want an answer, though, but go ahead. You want this much money in NIL? All right, let's go do it. You want to be the highest paid head coach in the country? Fine, let's go do it. Where it seems like Ole Miss in Florida, from an NIL perspective, don't completely have the luxury of what LSU's doing. Now, what is Ole Miss's issue? Ole Miss's issue is that their collective and how things are now approved by the Athletic Commission, which I don't know if a lot of you know about this, but there's now a commission to approve NIL deals. Deloitte is a big part of running it. So in case you don't follow national college football news, go over to Rufino and Joe Show and hit subscribe. I highly suggest you do that. So collectives, while now kind of a thing of a past, are coming back through, but the wording's got to be different on how you do NIL deals, and that's exactly how Ole Miss has been doing it. I think Lane Kiffin went into that Friday meeting with Keith Carter and said, do y'all have a plan to meet this $25 million roster limit that everybody else is meeting? And I don't know if Ole Miss said that they had a structured plan that Lane Kiffin believed in. So, as we talked about on Thursday, you are prepared to make him the highest paid head coach. And I do think you'd go more north than Florida. I do think you would go more north than Ole Miss. I don't understand, by the way, the contract from everybody talking about Ole Miss. They said that they would extend him to 2031, a 6-year deal. You can't do that in the state of Mississippi. Like, you can't. Y'all are contradicting yourselves in Ole Miss. Well, it's technically a rollover. Well, the rollover's not on the buyout. So, no, it's not a rollover. LSU is going all in. So, that's the part that we had talked about the most on Thursday. Is, look, if Lane Kiffin accepts the deal at LSU, is because you put your foot down and said, well, we're just not going to get told no for an answer. I do fully believe that if Lane Kiffin stays or he goes to Florida, it's a personal preference situation. There's nothing else that I think LSU could have done here. I don't really know if LSU feels confident in their backup plans because they've gone all in and they're taking a big risk with it. But Florida has blinked. In the reports, as we talked about on Thursday with John Summerall, I've continued to hear that Florida is also had conversations with John Summerall. Well, Blake, he canceled a meeting. Well, he canceled a meeting on Tuesday. Doesn't mean that he canceled a meeting on Wednesday. And I'm going to leave that there. And let me say this about the John Summerall Florida interview that happened on Wednesday, not the canceled one on Tuesday. I'm not guessing. Because there's one thing that I know. People may lie. Eyewitness account does not. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. So you can say all the different little things that you want, but Florida said we haven't talked to John Summerall. It's a lie. And any Florida, I'm telling you for a fact, they have talked to him, and they talked to him last week. They blinked. Not guessing. So, what does all of that mean? Let's look into the future of what could happen here. I don't know if Ole Miss is going to allow Lane Kiffin to coach the rest of the season. Well, Blake, they just said that they'll make a decision after the Egg Bowl. Because there is a lot of public pressure on Ole Miss right now to make a move. I don't know if Ole Miss will. I mean, you don't make a move on Friday. If you make a move Sunday or Monday, God, you're going to look weak. God, you're going to look weak. And Keith Carter, the fans are not going to remember that they were begging you to get him out of there for the Egg Bowl if you let him go, by the way. They're not going to do it. I don't know how this thing's about to go down. It feels to me that Ole Miss, that this might not make it through the week. I don't know if Lane Kiffin, who's going to be at a press conference on Monday, that is going to be a bloodbath. The toxic level of bloodbath, if he walks into that press conference on Monday at Ole Miss as the head coach, it's going to get nasty. If Lane wanted to stay, he would have said he was going to stay by now. Why would he want all of this circus if he was staying or wanted to stay? To me, again, this feels like it's coming down to LSU and Florida. But the longer he stays, I feel like one of the other schools is going to get left out, meaning when this is all said and done, this is going to come down to Ole Miss or LSU or Ole Miss and Florida. I don't know if this makes it through the week. I really don't. I have no clue how this makes it through the week. Now, as we also talked about on Thursday, I think the calendar, all this whole situation, sidebar, this whole situation is going to force the NCAA to make calendar changes. It's got to, because it's not fair to LSU. It's not fair to Ole Miss. It's not fair to Florida. And guys, quite frankly, it is not fair to Lane Kiffin that he's got to make a decision for his future while he's in the middle of a playoff run. The NFL has it perfectly structured for you and laid out. Well, Blake, it doesn't really meet the calendar year. Well, it's where we are. When you started changing all of these things, or December signing period instead of February, all of these different things completely hurt and crippled the sport. Guys, I'm going to be the one to come out here and not tell you that I'm hearing this, and this has happened. There's a lot of people in this media beat who's telling you, I'm hearing this, and this. And quite honestly, I think they're guessing. Some of them. They don't know how this is going to play out. They can have an opinion. But this shit is going toxic by the hour. It grows toxic by the hour. I will tell you this. Thursday was not really me guessing. I wasn't really guessing in the things that we discussed. It wasn't something that I said, hey, either I'm a lucky son of a bitch, or either I'm the luckiest son of a gun alive and constantly kind of talking about this before it goes down, or it's just what we hear that is factual. I don't know if this makes it to tomorrow. I don't know if the whole day goes through tomorrow and this thing's not kind of somewhat resolved to some extent. Because the amount of pressure that's come down at Ole Miss is ungodly. And they have mismanaged this whole situation as an AD standpoint and as a fan base standpoint. If Keith Carter would have said, hey, man, we're going to let him coach the whole way through. Whatever he decides at the end is what he decides at the end. Y'all were talking about building a statue of the dude. A statue of him. And now that you're going through the biggest adversity, you don't want to, the best head coach that you've had since the 60s. I don't know how this plays out, man. I don't. I'd be lying to you if I told you. My opinion is that there's going to be an ungodly amount of pressure within Sunday and Monday, and all hell could break loose. I'm like 50-50 on all hell breaking loose. But as the minutes go by, I get more confident that this thing might just go nuts and nuclear within 24 hours. There could be a chance within 24 hours all hell breaks loose. Or Ole Miss does what has been their pattern. And this fits for me. The other part of this is I feel like Ole Miss, if you're not going to make a decision on Friday, are they going to make a decision now? Are they going to wait until Saturday to ultimately make a decision? Well, it's Lane's decision. Well, no, you've been the big bad wolf talking about the ultimatums. Well, make a decision then, big boy. Going out. I mean, listen, this isn't even an LSU thing. It's not even an LSU thing. Like, guys, if we were Ole Miss right now as a fan base and you kept backing down to this dude, brother, you couldn't do that here. You couldn't do it. And Ole Miss, that's what people talk about. When you try to compare, oh, well, we're more of a modern-day blue blood. No, because LSU fans would have never allowed that to go on. Never. It means too much. We're not going to back down. We'll see, man. Now, listen, we hadn't talked about Florida and all of this. They have just as much level of confidence as you do. Right now, LSU thinks he's coming, Florida thinks he's coming, and Ole Miss thinks he's leaving. That's how it's playing out. Now, the Ole Miss side of things, more than LSU. By the way, sidebar, I am tired of seeing people saying, LSU reporters are saying that it's a done deal. Show me a reporter that says it's been a done deal, please. Coming out with contracts is one thing. I don't know. I don't know. But Ole Miss is saying that they think it's between LSU and them. They think Florida's a distant third. Florida thinks that it's us and Ole Miss and that we are not even relevant to the conversation. About to find out. But you're a week away, no matter what, of knowing who is or isn't going to be your next head coach. Because if you're going after Lane, well, then you'll know by Saturday at the least. You'll know Saturday by the least. Shit, it might break while you're playing a game. Saturday at 2:30. I've heard this. Look, man, before those reports came out, I've heard pretty much the same thing as Ross Dellinger. Just being blunt with you. The only thing that I've heard differently from Ross is that LSU's number's not 25. I've heard it's upwards of 30 plus million for NIL and TV revenue. That's what I've personally heard. But also in that article, because I just don't know how this makes it to Friday. I don't. I mean, the good thing is it's Thanksgiving week. Maybe you only got 2 days of media, maybe. Because that locker room is going to be toxic. Lane's getting a bad rap in all of this. He is. But I don't think this is all on Lane. There are some things that I think Lane has done for what it's worth that I would have probably just done the same thing and deflect. Why not? Why not? Because he wants to coach this team. I do think he's changed. Everybody's going to look at that documentary and say he hadn't changed. Yeah, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying it. The thing that I buy is that he is put in between a rock and a hard place, knowing LSU and Florida are better jobs. Because this has been the best coaching job that he's ever done. So, and he's a psychopath about winning. Could you imagine that damn golden retriever, or not golden retriever, that damn lab running across Bayou Juice? We're going to find out. LSU's all in, and they're not going to back down here. So we'll see. We'll get to the Super Chats in just a moment. Thoughts, questions, concerns, you can become a member, send in Super Chats. We got time at the end. We'll go through some calls. Let's get to the post game here. So LSU won the toss for the third straight week in a row after losing 14 straight. Look, we're going to do these by quarters and kind of break them down into quarters because we've already been here a while now. Guys, the season is the season. The season is the season. Let's break these down by quarters. The first drive defensively, look, they came out, did Western Kentucky. They hit some passes on you, man, some quick outs. You were playing some off coverage. They hit a couple of big bombs on you. I say big bombs, but you had a 16-yard gain. You had a 17-yard gain. They did some RPO stuff where they handed off, then an RPO with an out route. One went for 16 on the ground. One went through 17 through the air. They got down to the red zone, did Western Kentucky, and you held them on third down when they tried to do the first little wildcat throw, and you forced a field goal from 36 yards. That was good. Look, man, this defense is just really good, and your best player didn't even play. Both of your best players didn't play, really. Not Mansour Delane, who got hurt during Arkansas. I heard that it was a lot of precautionary, that if he absolutely needed to go in, they would play him. I think Mansour Delane, who is injured, should sit. He should not have gone back in the Arkansas game, but wanted that win for his team and Frank. And he got a big PBU to end the game for a win. I don't think Mansour Delane should play for the rest of the year unless he absolutely wants to and couldn't get hurt in the process. Guys, he's probably going to be the first corner that comes off the board. I'm not risking that for him. Let him sit. Let him sit. I get, going out with your teammates. I am really grateful that a guy like that dressed out with his teammates tonight when he didn't need to. But I wouldn't let him play. We'll talk about Oklahoma next week. But your two young corners played really well tonight with P.J. Woodland and clearly DJ Pickett. They got a couple of quick plays and scripted plays on you. They lined up for a field goal and they made it. Guys, that's the only points that they gave up on the night. It's the only points they gave up on the night. That is ridiculous. So some scripted plays got them in the field goal range. They lined up and kicked it, and that was it. The rest of the game defensively, you just lined up and dominated. So a couple of big plays, they lined up for a field goal. They made it on the first drive. Okay, sounds good. This is an 8-2 football team, G5 or not. G5 or not. You sent a lot of pressure after a young quarterback, and he had to throw the ball away a lot. And that's why he was inaccurate as the game went on. So a couple big plays, first drive, it was what it was. It was what it was. First drive, man, listen, 3 and out. Screen got tipped up in the air, almost got picked. Parker missed an out route, 30 or 61. Michael Van Buren got hit. 61 missed a stunt. Guys, that's how I started off the opening monologue for the post game. Guys, again, this just sounds harsh. I don't know that I think your overall, like if this were college football 26, I would put a baseline average of the offensive lineman's awareness at a 60. Some of you will get that reference. The awareness is just lacking, man. If a guy is going to a gap as a one tech that he has no business going to in a passing down, meaning if a guy inside the shoulder of the guard and center is looping into another gap, if he's going very much into another gap, you got to expect someone to loop around him, and you got to pick it up. It has been by far teams that run this 3-3-5, or they'll shade into a zero nose, or they'll shade into a one tack after the snap. We have had such bad problems of teams trying to generate pressure off of stunts. We have not stopped it all year. I mean, we just haven't. You have a 3 and out to start off the game because, quite frankly, at tackle, you're horrendous. I thought Ari Williams had another really good game until he went out, but you're just bad. Now, I don't think Carius Kern's a bad player. I think Carius Kern is out of position. He should be a right guard. Guys, you're getting a guard that is a mauler to play tackle, and you're expecting him to be the most athletic offensive lineman. Again, it's the same thing every week that I'm just not going to keep harping on. Like, listen, I come out here and say all the time, look, these guys know more about football than I do. And they do, most of them. I'm just going to say this, and I don't mean it in a harsh way, but it's reality. Carius Kern should have never been taking reps at left tackle. He shouldn't be your left tackle. You've had 5 years if you're Brad Davis to recruit. Quite bluntly, you've had really and truthfully 3 full years to recruit and develop tackles post Emory Jones. I get the Lance Hurd thing really hurts you. I get it. Tyree Adams going down really hurts you. I get it. Some of the stuff for Brad Davis isn't all on him. Tyree Adams getting hurt's not on him. Lance Hurd being around an administration. Scott Woodward, excuse me. I sneezed there. Scott Woodward that refused to pay players in the beginning of all of this. That's why you lost Lance Hurd. And so you get to a situation and you get to a time where not all of this is on Brad, but you had enough time to recruit and develop, and you've done a horrible job. Another 3 and out. Second possession defensively, you just absolutely dominated him. Absolutely freaking dominated him. Woodland almost got an interception. It fell to the dirt on 3rd and 6. Pyburn and Bro got a sack and forced a punt. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. You know, I when we talk about these generalities, man, we don't talk about Jack Pyburn. Listen, right, wrong, or indifferent. Has he made every play that he probably wants to? No. Nope. I know that number 44 is giving me everything he's got. That's all I can ask. Glad he was rewarded with a sack tonight, along with Ahmad Bro. First quarter, second possession. I mean, listen. You got a first down, so you actually are doing a little bit better here in your second possession. I don't understand the involvement of Barryon Brown anymore. I don't understand it. Guys, he got 11 targets tonight. Clearly, it's not working. You know, Frank Wilson said that he was going to give Teron Francis some work here, Destin Hill some work here, Phillip Wright some work here. Where are they? Don't stop telling me, as an interim coach, don't tell me shit. You ain't got no reason to lie. It's what people, it's what makes people not trust you for you to even get the job yourself. I don't understand it. You did a jet sweep with him. You did a couple of runs. You did a counter run with Barry on 3rd and 3 that got stopped for no gain, and then you punted the football. You're on a good side of the field where you could have gone for it too, but Frank's going to play conservative. He likes to win, I guess. And you almost coached yourself into a loss. Joke, man. Look, defensively, again, really good stuff. Really, really, really good stuff. They get one first down because Dylan Carpenter was offsides. You got off the field on that 3rd down. It is what it is. You got into a 3rd and 3. You got a lot of pressure on them. Harold Perkins in on some pressure on a 3rd and 3. They had to throw away. They got flushed right, and they got to throw the ball away. Harold Perkins has had his best game since Brian Kelly has been not here. I keep saying that, man. I don't know what that means because it's not like BK had a massive impact of what Harold Perkins was doing, at least not to my knowledge. But he doesn't have the green dot. Now, maybe that is a BK thing. I don't know. But Perk keeps getting a lot of pressure, man, in the last 3 weeks since BK hadn't been here, or 3 games, I should say. It is not, I say this every single week, it's just not missed upon me that since BK walked out the door, Perkins has been playing better. Of all the football things I've thought about, not named Lane Kiffin the last couple of weeks, the one thing that I just keep coming back to, what does that mean? I mean, it's clear that Harold Perkins has been playing better without Brian Kelly being here. So, really good stop, again, by the defense. Again, after the first drive, you gave up no points. Look, the third possession offensively absolutely pissed me off. You got a couple of really good runs. Barry from a pistol zone run got 8. Barry on a toss got 3 on a critical 3rd and 2. You did an outside zone run with Caden Durham that went for 6. There was a really good play where Michael Van Buren climbed up in the pocket and threw the ball in an out route to Thomas. Really, really, really good stuff. You would end the first quarter and go into the second. And guys, this is what I hate about this team and what's really plagued them, really. You know, what's really plagued this team this year is that when you always get momentum, you either just because it's going to happen by like you end a first quarter or you do it to yourself. It's that every time that you stop momentum, all hell breaks loose. You end the first quarter and you get a Durham toss that goes for 5. So you're kind of really running the ball here. You had an out route by Thomas that went for 18. You're moving the really good climb up by Michael Van Buren, throwing the ball down the field. And then the second quarter comes. And then after that, you just pull out your wiener and you start pissing down your leg. You don't let your titties hang out. You're not putting hot honey on them. I mean, you fold. You fold. You got an offensive PI on Barryon Brown. You had a play action right after that got intercepted. Every single time you call a timeout, every single time something happens where your momentum is stopped, you're never able to recompose yourself, recapture the moment, and then go out there and seize it. It is by far, the wildest shit that I've ever seen. Like, it's just like, yeah, I get it. Your momentum got slowed down, but how many times, like, pick it up. Like, don't stop. It's like you get a little confidence and then you completely forget about everything else surrounding you. God, this offense hasn't had any dog in them all year. Interception by Michael Van Buren was bad. Look, a kid that's never been under center, doing a deep play action with his back to the field. He's going to have to work on that. He's never done that before. You're putting him in situations he's never been in before. It's a bad pick, yeah. You're asking him to do something he's never done before, though, with a bad O-line. Bad pick. Can't throw that. Interceptions are bad, man. It's a bad decision. Got confused. Ball got intercepted. Can't happen. But momentum completely stops. Fourth possession defensively. Look, the only other scare that you would have on the night defensively was a drive that, quite honestly, you just allowed. It's the drive where they go for it on fourth down. The quarterback drops the wheel route touchdown. You had a 3rd and 10 where Flowers on an in route. A.J. Halsey was step late, goes for 12 yards. You had a 3rd and 3 after a couple of quick runs, a sidearm hitch that goes for 4. A couple of plays in there, though. You had a Spears had a PBU. Jackson had a PBU on a couple of slants. Really good stuff by both of them. You had a slant, or brought that up, slant PBU by Jackson. Quarterback touchdown wheel route that got dropped that should have gone for 7. So, look, you could have given up 10 points on the night, and that fumble at the end would have lost you the game. But their lack of execution also beat them. So, to just put this all in perspective, by the way, Gus, you could have gotten beat tonight. You could have gone up against Western Kentucky and gotten beat. If they catch that wheel route on the little direct snap, wheel route to Tisdale, that fumble at the end of the game, guys, it would have been over. It would have been over. There, if you're Western Kentucky, you're kind of kicking yourself on some of your lack of execution, even against LSU's defense last night, when that wheel route in Tisdale, their quarterback, drops it. Guys, they get that, you're going to lose. So, I have no words. Really, I have no words. Foundationally, as a team, it is a complete rebuild. From a culture standpoint, and let me say this too while we're at it. Like you see a game versus Western Kentucky, where they missed on some execution stuff, like the wheel route, the quarterback drop that we talked about, and you had some execution problems, but because if they get that, they may win. They connect on that wheel route, they may win. And, you know, over the last week and a half, all the conversations around LSU, whether it be you or I or whether it be nationally, has been about the coaching search. You know what the second biggest hire for LSU after the head coach is announced is who his strength and conditioning coach is going to be. Because, guys, that is the dude that sets the mentality and culture for your team. And clearly Jake Flint did not do a good job of it. So they would line up, they would run that wheel route, it would get dropped. They would run a jet sweep pass. They went for one on a screen. They call a timeout. They go for it on 4th and goal, and they throw an incomplete pass as Deshaun Spears is there to break it up. Look, man, I could have gotten bad there. You're not winning the game. They convert on that. You're not winning. 4 possession defensively. Look, you did a lot of really good things. 4 possession offensively. Look, you did some good things. You had Green on a wheel route. Michael Van Buren scrambled for 10 yards. You had a couple of Durham runs in there and Barry runs. One went for 7, one went for 2, one went for 4. But you get down to the goal line for your first score of the night, for your first scoring opportunity of the night. And you had a 3rd and 7 where you have a false start, and a 3rd and 12 where you run a screen to Thomas that you could have lined up for a field goal. But you go for it on 4th and 4, and Xavier Thomas runs a corner route, and I just got text a clip of myself, and I'm scared to watch it. I'll watch it at the end of the show. Runs a corner route, and its timing's off, and it gets dropped, and it's a bad throw. And you don't go for the points. Brutal, man. Brutal. Right before the half, the real last defensive possession that you had, you'd have a 3-and-out right before the half. You'd force a 3-and-out. You'd have a possession from Western Kentucky that was okay. You only gave up 1 first down. They went for it on 4th down. So you have a 3-and-out, and the play that they went for it on 4th down where they threw the ball in the flat, and Jakeem Jackson made a really good play where he hit the running back in the flat and stopped him a half a yard. So after giving up a long drive that almost went for 6, and if they catch a wheel route, they score, you have a 3-and-out and a stop on 4th down that was massive. Look, man, your DB room played really well again tonight with your best player not out, and that's the biggest takeaway for me. It's how well that they played. Right before the half, listen, you finally got a touchdown. It was not without its complete struggles. So you get the ball back. You have a rollout left where you hit Kyle Parker for 23 yards, so a really good play. You go to the 2-minute warning, and after a couple of runs don't really get you anything, you get into a 3rd and 9. Green on a stick route goes for 8, and you line up for a 4th and 1, and Michael Van Buren does an RPO screen to Trey Green that goes for 2 yards and a first down. So you're being really aggressive. I don't mind the aggressiveness. There. But clearly getting Michael Van Buren out of the pocket tonight was the best thing for him because it's where he was his most comfortable. Why you didn't keep doing that is beyond me. You keep having success with it, keep doing it. Keep doing it. But you get a couple of critical 3rd downs and a critical 4th down after the 2-minute warning. Wheel route to Trey Green is called for pass interference, and on the RPO slant to Trey Green goes for a touchdown, and you take the lead 7-3. So, look, man, really good stuff. got enough time on the clock to where you could even make a 3-and-out, which you did, and go back and get the football. We'll talk about that in a minute. But Trey'Dez Green's a freak, man. Put him in a slot. Why you have him and Bauer Sharp on the field is beyond me at this point, because that is by far the dumbest move I've seen anybody do. It's so asinine. Trey'Dez Green's a good player, man. Got to get him in space more. Got to get him better looks. You got to scheme him open more. Stop giving him this stupid shit in the flat. Use the middle of the field with his big ass. Run stick routes with him all night. If he missed it, he missed it. Keep going back to it, because you keep going back to Barryon Brown. It's not like you don't keep going to Barryon Brown's ass. I mean, craziness. Complete craziness. All right. You forced a 3-and-out, and it's 7-3 at halftime. You did have a last possession there offensively. Guys, look, the second half was as boring as it comes. You would line up for an 18-yard field goal in the second half. I mean, guys, there was a lot of bullshit. Like, for example, your defense forces a 3-and-out. You have a 3-and-out. You had an interception, tipped interception by DJ Pickett, which DJ Pickett got the sack earlier. DJ Pickett, welcome to the big show. Well, it's the big show. It's the big man show tonight, y'all. DJ Pickett with a critical sack on the third down, forces a 3-and-out. Next possession, got a tip pass by West Weeks that fell into his lap for a big-time INT. But offensively, you were complete dog ass. I mean, just complete ass. You would have a 3-and-out. You would have to punt. You would get into the red zone. Like the ninth possession offensively, swing pass to Barry for 2 yards. Michael Van Buren zone read for 17 yards. Quarterback power to the 3. And then you just shit down your leg at the 1-yard line again. Guys, how many times are we going to get to the red zone? How about this? How many times are we going to get to the 1-yard line and not get points or have to settle for a field goal? There is nothing. Now, I'm glad Frank Witten got the 3 points, because the 3 points actually helped you win the game, and points were at a premium tonight, and you played horribly. But, I mean, guys, how many times at the 1-yard line are we not going to go get a touchdown? So just a minute ago, we talked about Lane Kiffin. If it's him, yes, the head coach is the biggest hire that you can make. Whoever the strength and conditioning coordinator will be the second biggest hire in all of this. Because, guys, the truth of the matter is, if you just can't line up at the goal line and go get 1 yard, you ain't beating nobody. The strength and conditioning staff set the culture and tempo and the mentality of your team. They always have. They always will. And you as a coach got to bring in, I hate to say this, and I hope there's not kids listening, you got to go bring in motherfuckers. You got to go bring in dudes. And you kept talking about during the offseason, we don't want poodles. We want pit bulls. Well, you're playing like a poodle, which, by the way, I don't like that saying, because poodles can be very fierce animals. And I'm not talking about the toy poodle kind. Toy poodles are hunting dogs, and they're really good ones. How many fucking times are we going to get to the 1-yard line and not score? It makes me want to punch a wall. Oh. I've never in my life, in my adult life, I don't think I've ever seen a team. It's honestly, you know what it is? It's kind of impressive. It's kind of impressive of how many ways you find to not just be able to line up and run and go get a yard. It is asinine. It is asinine. You got to the 1 god dog yard line and you can't run a quarterback sneak. You want to go a quarterback power? that gets you to the one, line it up and run that bitch again. Like, I give an example. If Lane Kiffin's your next head coach, guys, he called the same fourth down call on you 3 times. One of them just happened to get called back for a penalty, so he punted. He ran the same play 3 times, and you didn't stop it either time. There's not a lot of innovation. Okay, well, stop it then. Stop it. We're going to make the right decisions. You are not. The second half was a complete cluster F into the end. You traded away a field goal. You got a field goal. You got a pair of field goals. An 18-yard field goal, guys, that's an extra point in college football. An 18-yard, you had to make an 18-yard field goal. I hate that decision. Maybe would have lost you the game. So I'm kind of glad maybe you didn't do it. But good Lord. Good Lord. I mean, what are we doing? The second half was just abysmal. I mean, look, we'll talk about Michael Van Buren. Let's just talk about him here. I don't think Michael Van Buren had a great night at all. I'm gonna keep that thought. I'm gonna keep that thought to myself. Do I think he's still your best option? Yes. You're gonna have to live with a young quarterback making mistakes. Well, Blake, y'all owe Garrett an apology. No, you don't. Garrett wasn't good either, and he's not a fifth-year senior. Guys, this is his second year with a foundationally bad offense that's gotten worse. You know, when you fired Joe Sloan, I didn't think it would get worse. I thought it would actually get better. It's gotten worse. It's gotten so much worse. So, I mean, foundationally, I get it. Like, you're trying to call another man's offense that's already bad. But this is insane. Look, Harlan Bear's got to hold on to the football. He's had a couple of situations where he's fumbled the football. He fumbled the football against Alabama. He fumbled the football tonight that was a scoop and score and almost could have lost you the football game. Freshman moments, man. Freshman moments. Harlan Berry, I don't want him to lose his burst and his explosiveness. Harlan Berry's gonna have to he needs to hit the weight room a little bit. He's going to have to get over 200 pounds. He can't keep taking all those hits. Great athlete, great player. He's going to be a really good player. He needs to really focus on getting to 195, 200. Can't fumble the football. Turnovers are abysmal. Because really and truthfully, turnovers are a big reason of why the game was even close as it was. To start off with, you just can't turn the ball over. I am a stickler for turnovers, man. I hate them. I loathe them. So look, man, second half, you played horribly. Michael Van Buren, look, he's going to have to continue to grow. I don't know what the future is with you and him. I think he's put in a very tough spot. Very, very tough spot. But I thought he made a lot of it. Does he want throws back? I'm sure he does. Because this is what it looks like when you play a very young quarterback. It's different than being a fifth-year guy. That's for damn sure. With the same guy that you've been with for 4 years. Just offensively, man, it's the worst I've seen in a long time around here. It's not going to get better. You need a complete new offensive line. I really don't. You know, other than like Carius Kern, Solomon Thomas, I see some development there. I even keep Braylon Moore, Tyree Adams. I mean, look, man, you're going to have to bring in some offensive linemen in the portal and not miss. Because developmental-wise, I don't trust what Brad Davis, or in scouting-wise, I don't trust what Brad Davis has done. I think Ori Williams has done some good things for you. I think you got some pieces, right? Like I think if you move Carius Kern to guard, can do some good things. You get a Tyree Adams back. He can, Tyree hasn't played bad this season. You got to go get some push. Like, guys, DJ Chester can't play here. These guys along the offensive line have got to hit the weight room. Big time. Big time. I mean, man, it is just, I mean, the IQ, the level of physicality. I mean, you look like a team that doesn't go through physicality throughout the week. Is what you look like. But man, just god awful. All right. Let's get to some super chats here. Couple of ways for you to get involved. Become a member, super chats, and if we got time at the end, we'll take some phone calls here. Idaho Tiger fan with a $10 super chat says, like the page, share the page, subscribe to AYS. Best super chat of the night comes from Idaho. Yes, subscribe down below. 60% of you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel. So do us a favor, hit that subscribe button. Also, download the FD Sportsbook app. We greatly appreciate it when y'all do that. Every postgame and AYS show and coaching carousel show is going to be presented to you by our good friends over at FanDuel this year. Shaquan6525 with a $10 super chat says, we won't be able to run the ball against Oklahoma. We might not score. Be blunt with you. We might not score. I mean, you play like you did tonight. I mean, you might not score. And I hope that we go to the Pop-Tart Bowl. I love Pop-Tarts. I want a reason to have a Pop-Tart Bowl. I mean, just being blunt. I've been texted like 5 times in reference to Kenzel Kelly's comments. I don't have anything to say to Kenzel Kelly. I mean, that's his dad, man. I'd defend my dad too. I don't know why y'all get so worked up over a kid defending his dad. You defend your dad too. What the fuck are we talking about? He's a kid. General Grievous with a $5 super chat says, bring us Kiffin or bring us death. This shit sucks. I wish MVB was a bright spot. Funny enough, I think he beats us with his mistake team last year. I do too. And listen, who knows if he stays, if Kiffin comes, what he can do with him. I mean, who knows? Who knows what any competent offensive mind could what they could do. I want a play caller, man. I really do. I really, really, really do. Victor the Third with a $2 super chat. Grievous doesn't miss another one. No. He says, I don't care who is in. The offense is broken. Yet fundamentally, it's broken down to the score, and I got to be blunt with you. I don't think that this team cared tonight. Whew. Did y'all just get that? Hey, thumbs up in the chat if y'all just got an alert on your phone from, I guess, Louisiana State Police. Boy, that scared these shit. That Amber Alert scared the shit out of me, man. Whew. Anyone else just get that Amber Alert? Holy shit. Yes. Yes. LSU Tiger fan 420. Y'all get that Amber Alert? Holy shit. That just scared the shit out of me. I got to be blunt with you, and I'm not joking. I'm not making a joke about this. I have Amber Alert PTSD. When the floods in 2016 happened, I got PTSD from it. I really do. I don't mean that in the wrong way. I'm dead serious. I know that I do. General Grievous, well, y'all be on the lookout. Y'all read the Amber Alert. Be on the lookout. General Grievous says need to up that NIL budget. 25 mil won't be enough. Do what you got to do, man. Do what you got to do. But here's the thing. I've heard different than Ross. I've heard that it is upwards of 30 plus million that they are guaranteed him with TV revenue and NIL. That's what I've been told. Brian, so I do think 30 would be about, it would be top 10. I mean, but guys, think about this. You're giving roughly 10 million more dollars, give or take, to the next head coach with a higher salary per year than what you did for Brian Kelly. Guys, I got to tell you, man, listen to me. I know y'all gonna think I'm crazy. I'm telling you what I know for a fact. Scott meddled too much, bro. I'm just telling you, he meddled too much. When it came to paying dudes, he meddled too much. He had eyes all up in that building telling him, oh, we're about to pay a kid, $850,000. Then he put it into it. Then he realized, well, shit, I kind of do need to pay these kids. And he brought in Austin Thomas, and by then it was too late. Brian Penn with a $5 super chat says the defense played their ass off. It's been since 1977 LSU hasn't scored more than 25 points in a game. No, it's didn't score 25 points last week. The defense played their ass off. It's been since 1977 LSU hasn't scored more than 25 points in a game. Yeah, they didn't score 25 points last week. Are you talking about like against a G5 opponent? Well, then 2017, didn't they lose 24-21? Elaborate on that. Gorilla on YouTube says MVB played like 2012 Mark Sanchez. Was that butt fumble Sanchez? Wasn't good tonight. But see, here's another thing too. Is I don't expect Michael Van Buren to have to throw the ball 42 times for us to win in his second start at LSU. That's what I don't expect. He shouldn't have to. But you went 3 of 16 on third down, I think it was tonight. 3 of 16. That's god awful. That can't happen. Just can't happen. Tiger Boy Luck with a $5 super chat says, I hate how they did Chris Hilton. Ain't no way you don't unleash him because of one drop. It's criminal. They don't like him, man. Look, I went on a tangent on this last week. I think Cortez should have also been fired with Joe Sloan. Look, this is a business. I think Cortez has done Cortez is not getting the blame for like the same blame as Brad Davis. He should be. He did Chris Hilton dirty. Very dirty. He did. So, yeah. Johnny Bravo with a $2 super chat says, free my boy BK. I'm assuming that's what Kenzel Kelly said. They are freeing Brian Kelly. They sent him a letter of formal termination. He gone. And I don't, there are just some things I've heard. I don't think BK wants us going to Discovery. Not that I've heard anything bad that will be in Discovery. I just mean I've heard BK's told people he doesn't want this to go to Discovery. And I don't know if BK's done with coaching, which would help LSU out, in the sense of that they would be offset by kind of like the James Franklin thing. Like, hey, if BK does take a job somewhere else, which is what he's told people publicly, from what I understand, we'll see. We'll see if he actually follows up with it. But it's hard to wake up and go do something and work when you're 65 years old and you're going to get paid $50+ million if it goes your direction. Yeah, he's going to get free. He's going to be free as a bird. Go do whatever. Victor III with a $5 super chat says, man, if someone can make MVB more consistent, no offense to him. Yeah, he's got to be more consistent. Look, we talked about it on Thursday. I wanted to see timing be a little bit better. Timing was worse. Yep, timing was worse. Timing with them is going to have to get better. It's going to have to get better. It was really bad tonight. Some of those throws, he made the right decision, just a bad throw. I just got sent a DM. This is what the guy was talking about in the chat. All right, hold on. Wilson Alexander of the Advocate says this may be the worst LSU offense in nearly 50 years, if not longer, since Division I split in 1978. LSU has not gone an entire season without scoring more than 25 points against FBS teams. per Scott Rabelais. Okay, I got you. Thank you to whoever sent that in the chat. Free my boy PK. Y'all leave that kid alone, man. Y'all leave that kid alone. He's offending his dad, man. I don't blame him. Antonio with a $10 super chat says, what I don't get is how we recruited this bad through the offensive line in 24 and 25. It blows my mind. How we spent $18+ million and we're this bad. Like you said, complete rebuild, GoFundMe, extra $10 million to get Lane Kiffin. Well, Antonio, if you got that kind of cash, let me just hold like 10 stacks, my guy. Christmas is around the corner. Number two, just send them 95, 95. Send them 950 million. Just look, man, if you got it like that, man, I could always use it. Christmas right around the corner. In reference to his conversation here, yeah, man, I mean, Brad just missed, and they haven't developed. I don't think he missed from a complete talent standpoint. Like, I think Karius Kern could be really good. I haven't seen enough from Solomon Thomas. I don't think Tyree Adams has been bad. You got to get a new O-line coach in there. And here's, again, Antonio, I'll say this too. You got to get a better strength and conditioning staff in there. You just do. I mean, the biggest non-story now story that doesn't get, because no one talks about the strength and conditioning like that. Jake Flint's been horrible. Horrible. Go get killers. Aaron with a $2 super chat says 41 years old, worst O-line play I've seen at LSU. I agree. I'm not that far off from you in age either. Hal Mendoza with a $5 super chat says, I just got off a late shift. What you mean we struggled to score against Western Kentucky? This entire offensive staff needs to get gone immediately. Yeah, we struggled. Again, we got to the 1 yard line again and couldn't score. Think about that for a minute, Mendoza. Think about that shit. You should have had a night where, like, hey, man, this is how you know, too, on offense, you don't have a lot of leadership. Is because someone should have been saying, hey, man, we get to go pad some stats. We get to go score. Let's get out of this bitch by halftime. And I know that Western Kentucky's an 8-2 team, so maybe that's a little harsh. But let's go score more than 20 points. It's a complete rebuild, man. Complete rebuild. Fletcher with a $5 super chat says, have we forgotten Louisiana Tech? Still looks just as bad. Worst O-line and offense LSU has ever put on the field. Sickening. It is really bad. And 2023 defense might have been the worst defense. Worst thing that you did is let Mike Denbrock walk out the door for Joe Sloan's crazy ass. Frankie AM with a $5 super chat says, Florida fans saying LSU is too loud. I've been seeing this. Weren't they the ones saying stay by your phones last week? Yes, they were. Yeah, they were. They're saying LSU's being loud by national people reporting stuff. See, it really hadn't been local media. Now, some of y'all, let me touch on this real quick. I don't remember about what time. I was on a field trip with my son on Friday, but I kept getting this whole thing about, and most of y'all follow me, so you know this. You saw it. Somebody was like posting stuff, and then I guess it was on a message board, and they were like, hey, man, this guy posted this on a message board. And I was like, hey, guys, y'all need to calm down. So then that tweet, y'all took the same message board and like, oh, tell Blake to go suck it. Fuck Blake Ruffino. And then all of a sudden, the decision came out that there was a non-decision. Again, either I'm the luckiest motherfucker alive or we actually know some stuff. So, again, calm yourselves. It's not done yet. Glenn Gilbo, LSU's in a really, really, really good spot right now. Really, really, really good spot. Deal not done yet. Then why tweet it? And I don't really consider Gilbo to be like The dude that would know. And I like Gilbo. He's not a bad dude, but I mean, come on. Frankie also says Blake Baker for head coach if we miss on Lane Kiffin. What would Blake do? What would Blake do as a head coach? I mean, again, y'all just throw stuff out there. I mean, you don't know. There's other candidates out there. I mean, they go get drink before they go promote Blake Baker. Shit, guys, they promote Frank Wilson before they. I mean, why not give Blake Baker the interim title if you wanted to go there? General Grievous says Sharp can't block, Brown can't catch, bench him. They're not going to do it. You've gotten this far now, but we'll see. Doug Knows with a $2 super chat says Jed Fish is is a UF alum. I think that's who Florida gets. Well, if you ask them, they are getting they're getting Lane Kiffin. I've asked them. I've been trying to stay as close to the Florida thing as I could, and they think they're getting Lane Kiffin just as much as you do. I do think from a fan base perspective, a lot of us are a little bit more conservative. That's what people don't see. It's like they don't see the chat. Like, oh, man, hey, man, are we getting him? Like, this kind of feels like Lincoln Riley, Tom Herman all over again. And it very well might go down to that. Very well might go down to that. Doug Knows says per playoff rules, OM could get dinged without a current head coach in charge. OM would be better off showing the interim or the intern can win a game Friday without the head coach. True. It's a good point. I agree with Ross. I don't know how this thing goes down to Friday. Lane Kiffin walks up to that podium on Monday, man. That shit's going to get toxic. It's going to be pure cinema. Pure cinema. David, with a $5 super chat, says, do we think Nuss heals up next week or do we play Johnson? No and no. I think Nuss is done. Lucas, since a $2 super chat, says, what happens if Saban goes to Ole Miss? Now y'all just sending money. Nick Saban ain't going to Ole Miss. Nick Saban would be campaigning for the LSU job before going to Ole Miss. I don't see what y'all see. I'm going to keep saying this. I see a dude that's having fun on College game day. Guys, he's 74 years old. That ship sailed. Buck on YouTube with a $2 super chat. Ohio State man says, does this game affect Lane's decision? It might have. No, it doesn't, Buck. He already knows the decision that you're in. By the way, Florida's gotten blanked by Kentucky and got damn near beat to shit by Tennessee before they pulled people. You're both not in a good spot. I don't think he can go back to Ole Miss. I think it's too far gone. Why would you have put them through all of that just to go back? Maybe I'm wrong. Walking, talking, Stephen Hawking with a $10 super chat says, you are the second person I trust to tell us Kiffin probably won't make it to the Egg Bowl. I'm growing more and more confident by the day, although I felt the same way about Riley. So, listen, I'm not telling you it's done. I don't know if this – look, here's what I'm trying to say, just so we're clear. I don't know if I can see it going there. However, the second part of this was, like I said on Thursday, I legitimately did not think that they would fire him on Friday or suspend him. I didn't. But there's just been so much push by Ole Miss people to sit his ass or fire his ass that now I sit here in the situation where I'm like, you didn't do it on Friday when you know, guys, they puffed their chest out saying we gave him an ultimatum. He's going to make a decision by Friday. And you backed down when he called your bluff. I don't want to hear that that's not what happened in that meeting. If any Ole Miss fan or media member comes out there and says that's not what happened, guys, come on. Come on. You leaked the ultimatum. You leaked it. So Kiffin came out there and said, Fire me, ho. You ain't gonna fire me on my day off. You know what the funniest shit would be? What the funniest shit would be is if Kiffin did get fired, he used half of that money to help an NIL. And say, hey, thank you for the money. I'm giving this to where I'm going. I'm going to go build a roster with it. That'd be so funny. That'd be so funny. But yeah. General Grievous with I don't know. So let me get back up. I don't know if they're going to do it at all. I mean, they wouldn't do it the first time. I don't know if I have confidence that they have the nuts to do it again. You have no marbles, 6'7". I don't know if they have the marbles to do it. Grievous says MVB gets good elite nickname, the president. Yeah, that was crazy. I like Tom Hart, but man, he doesn't know when it's time for a joke to end. I mean, he just keeps on with the same dad joke. Golf and Gambling with a $10 super chat says some guys are just scared to ask the prom queen out. Yeah, man. Listen, you can't be scared about rejection. Can't be scared about rejection. She's going to tell you no, brother. She's going to tell you no. I mean, she's going to tell you no 100% of the time mentally, but if you don't ask. I'm going to leave that alone. I know I got family members in here, and they can attest. I asked. And we were together for a while because your boy comes up on the show. I'm a charmer, man. You got to charm them hoes. Talk to them. They don't care that you buck ass ugly. You got to have a little bit of money. Talk to them. But it's the truth. Fred says a $10 super chat said just wanted to waste $10 to say Matt House is a Marquez trick. Okay. Yeah. Jamar Cain been calling him out on social media. Y'all been seeing that? But thank you for he is. I thought that was going to say Joe Sloan for a minute. Or Brian Kelly. Free BK. I would have sent the $10 to LSU just a free BK. But thank you, Fred. Fred also sends a $10 super chat. Says anyone who gets a Pop-Tarts with no icing needs to be investigated. I agree, Fred. Fred, me and you could be friends. He says also my wife is going to be pissed now that I figured out how to super chat. Well, give her some Pop-Tarts. Tell her to calm down. But yeah, Fred, I want to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl. We're going to a bowl game. I want to go to the Pop-Tart Bowl. Guys, we're going. Might as well go. Might as well go to the Pop-Tart Bowl. I love brown sugar Pop-Tarts, the brown sugar. Brown sugar Pop-Tarts, toasted with a large glass of milk. Banging. Dr. John Sibley Butler with a $10 super chat says, do you believe that LSU was playing conservative and thus bad tonight because they did not want to show the playbook downfield plays to Oklahoma? Doc, I don't know. I mean, at this point, you got to show everything. If you're only up 7-3, that's got to be completely abandoned ship. I just think they're a bad football team. And when you have a bad football team that then doesn't show up for a day, you're looking forward to Thanksgiving. Lane Kiffin's coming. Your distractions overcome, and you're going to give up and down performances. And when you're a bad team and you play bad, that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. KYH with a $10 super chat says, I can't stand Chris Hilton usage. Literally talked about him like he was the next Chase in camp, only has 6 catches. They haven't played him, man. And here's another thing. Why did you run Chris Hilton out with the first team all spring and all fall, only to then bench him literally the week before practices started? He didn't get beat out. Barian Brown had more drops than Hall's cough drops in camp. I mean, like he had more drops than an eye doctor. I mean, this isn't new. It's not new. I feel bad for Chris. Fred sends another $10 super chat, says, frick it, 10 more to see if you can think Jake Brown, 10 more to see if you think Jake Brown hits 15 more bombs. I think he has the ability to. I don't know if that's his game. So when we look at Jake Brown from a year ago, Fred, let's talk about what he did. He's got to get better against left-handed pitching. That's for sure. That is 1,000% for sure. If he's an everyday lineup guy, which I think that he will be. I mean, last year he hit 320 and he had 8 home runs, so he essentially have to double it. I don't know if he doubles it. Do I think he could get to a moderate 12? Yes. I don't know if he almost doubles it. No. I do think Zach York could, because Zach York's been the MVP of the fall. I've seen this team a couple of times now, 3 times in the fall, and then the big scrimmage. Zach York is really good. Daniel Harding is someone people need to keep their eyes out on. He's had a big fall. Milam's look good. I mean, what are they going to do at second, third? You know, Seth Dardar really hadn't gotten going yet. He hit double-digit home runs and hit a home run off of Cade Anderson last year. Sorry, I should have muted myself. I don't know if he doubles it, Fred, but I think he can get to 12, yes. KYH with another $5 super chat says, good thing is that Lane has done way more with way less than LSU will have next year. Definitely spend that NIL on O-line and tight ends, especially on O-line. But, yeah, I mean, Kiffin can call plays, man, and that's just – he's the best. Guys, Lane Kiffin is the best in-game play caller in the country, without a doubt. And he's going to go for it. He's going to be aggressive, and he's going to make you want to pull your hair out sometimes. But he's the best in-game play caller in the country, in my opinion. I don't think it's close. Nick with a $5 super chat says, Blake, if Kiffin does come, what does your gut tell you about Baker? Stay or go? Go. I think he's gone. I think he's gone. But let me tell you, I don't know. I have no idea what a Lane Kiffin staff at LSU would look like. Let me tell you this about O. I know I joked about the Orgeron thing, but now that everybody's really, really, really serious about it, guys, Ed's agent leaked it, and I got that confirmed. I don't know if Ed Orgeron's going to be your next defensive line coach. Ed's agent leaked it, and he was proud when it made national news. I'll leave it there. LSU born with a $5, and y'all all know who his agent is. With a $5, it's not Sexton. What are the odds that Texas or Alabama get rid of their coach and try for Kiffin? I'm not going to ever say never. I put like 5% on that. Sark isn't getting fired. Kalen DeBoer, I hear Kalen DeBoer's not leaving either. If they beat Auburn, guys, they're going to the playoff. So I don't think that's happening. Army base or Bass base, whatever. But Army on YouTube with a $5 super chat says, Blake, tell me why you like Dillingham if he is high on your list. Yeah, so Kenny Dillingham's second on my list because, number one, he's going to come in here and recruit his ass off. I mean, he's already recruited his ass off at Arizona State. He's constantly raising money. I think he's a really good in-game play caller. He demands physicality, will tell you like it is. He's brash. And I think he's one of the up-and-comers, personally. I do worry about him being 35 years old, same age as me, running LSU, because I think that it takes a lot of experience to run this place. I think the lack of experience does worry me about what, just general people. But he's a really, really freaking good play caller. And guys, he's at Arizona State. Like I hate the whole, well, who's he beating? I hate it. Now, if you have a long track record of who have you not beating, like Matt Rule, and why I just despise Matt Rule, like Eli Drinkwitz as an example. Like I've seen a lot of people in our media corps talking about, I don't understand why y'all people hate Eli Drinkwitz. Well, number one, you're just confirming that you don't talk to the fan base. And number two, I mean, what was the stat today, Brandon? Wasn't it 0-16? 0-16 against ranked opponents in the SEC at the end of the year. Whatever the stat is, I mean, he just doesn't beat ranked opponents. I love Kenny Dillingham. I think he'd kill it here. Let me tell you this. For me personally, if you miss out on Kiffin and it's Dillingham, you ain't going to get a lot of complaining from me, man. You're really not. Omar the Tiger with a $5 super chat says, Lane hasn't tweeted about Ole Miss in a good time. What a day. He tweeted about him yesterday. Man, tweeted about it today. He says, I'm ready to see good LSU football again from whoever it is. Snot bubble beat down football. Me too. Me too. I'm ready for your physicality to come back. I'm ready for your swag to come back. But you're not a physical football team. I think you're going to get a good coach regardless. I would put Drinkwitz fourth on mine. Like I'd still go after like Brom or Summerall personally. If like guys, Drinkwitz is like 5 for me. If I had to like make a list, I haven't like made a list, but I'd have John Summerall above that. I'd have Kenny Dillingham above him. Clearly, Lane Kiffin at 1, so it'd be like Kiffin, Dillingham. I'm gonna put John Summerall at 4 and Drinkwitz 5. I really like Eric Morris at North Texas. I want an offensive-minded play caller. And an at random, like an honorable mention, I would throw Colin Klein in there, Will Stein in there, offensive, like an offensive coordinator. But that's me. Multi-cool with a $10 super chat says, Les Miles wouldn't have even let the offense get this pathetic. Regardless if we get Lane or not, we need an offensive head coach. It's not Lane. Give me Dillingham or give me death. No, not Dork from Missouri. Yeah, a lot of people here don't want him. I don't see the fit. I don't see it. I don't see it. I know a lot of our media corps talk about it, but you're just not talking to the fan base. You're not talking to the fan base. Fred with a $10 super chat says 10 more to hear you say Matt House is a mark-ass trick one more time. He is a mark-ass trick. He's a horrible coach. That's why he keeps getting fired. Fred with a $10 super chat says, okay, being serious, did Curiel really break his ankle? I have not been able to confirm a broken ankle, no. I'll get that confirmed. Since we're not in baseball season, it's been a little like, non-baseball related stuff. I'll get an answer to you on Derek Curiel on Monday. Ask me again on Monday. I'll get it to you. But I do need to ask about that. Fred with a $10 super chat before we get out of here says, whoever said Perkins quit can eat a D word. He has been balling ever since BK got shit canned. Weird, right? It is very weird, man. I don't know what to make of that. I really, really, really don't. I have no idea what to make of that. But it certainly has happened that way. Certainly has happened that way. That is for sure. So, all right. We'll see y'all tomorrow. I think. See y'all tomorrow or Monday. Peace.